Let me start with something that will make you uncomfortable. Most people in their 30s don't have a money problem. They have a sequence problem. They save, they budget, they work hard, yet somehow it feels like they're sprinting on a treadmill that's quietly accelerating. And here's the part nobody warned you about. It's not the latte. It's not even your rent. It's the first $100,000 and the brutal psychological trap before it. Because before $100,000, money behaves like a fragile object. After $100,000, money starts behaving like a system, and systems, unlike fragile objects, can scale. If you're in your 30s, you're likely doing at least one of these. You're earning more than ever, but saving feels harder than ever. You're investing, but you're secretly unsure if you're doing it right. You're watching others flex online, and your brain is calling it evidence. You're thinking, maybe wealth is for people who started earlier. I'm going to tell you something that might sound arrogant, but it's true. Most people don't fail to build wealth because they don't know what to do. They fail because nobody told them what would happen to them while doing it. Nobody warned you about the emotional cost, the social cost, the identity cost. Nobody warned you that wealth isn't just math. It's psychology, it's incentives, it's narrative, it's timing. And today, we're going to speak plainly about the truth of building wealth in your 30s, especially the kind of truth that doesn't fit into a motivational quote. By the end of this episode, you'll have a clear reason the first $100,000 is so powerful and why it feels so slow. The 3 invisible traps that sabotage high earners in their 30s. A simple system you can run without becoming boring, miserable, or obsessed. A practical roadmap from I'm trying to I'm compounding. So yes, save your first $100,000. It can change your life, but not for the reason people think. Welcome to channel. Today's episode is titled The Truth About Building Wealth in Your 30s. Nobody warned you. And the anchor idea is simple. Save your first $100,000. It will change your life. But we're going deeper than the slogan. I'm going to treat this the way I would treat a market, not as a collection of facts, but as a set of forces. Because money is not just numbers. Money is behavior under pressure. And your 30s, whether you admit it or not, are pressure. You're no longer figuring things out. Now you're being measured. Career, marriage, kids, status, health, choices. And quietly in the background, money. Your 30s are when you start paying interest on your earlier decisions. And you start charging interest on your current ones. That's why this decade is so pivotal. Let's talk about the warning nobody gives. People will tell you, invest early, spend less than you earn, buy assets, avoid debt, index funds, ETFs, real estate, all correct. And yet still, so many people in their 30s feel like they're doing everything right and getting nowhere. Why? Because nobody warns you that the hard part is not knowledge. The hard part is that in your 30s, your life becomes a showroom. Your friends are upgrading. Your colleagues are signaling. Your family is expecting. Social media is distorting. And your brain, your ancient status-sensitive brain, doesn't interpret this as entertainment. It interprets it as data. In investing, there is a concept, reflexivity, the idea that perceptions can influence reality, and reality then influences perceptions. A feedback loop. Your 30s are full of reflexivity. You see others spending, you feel behind, you spend to catch up, you save less, you fall further behind, you feel more anxious, you spend again to feel normal. That's not a budgeting issue. That's a loop. So the first truth is this. In your 30s, building wealth is less about discipline and more about refusing to participate in other people's narratives. That is the first battle. Now let's talk about the first $100,000. People mention it like it's magical, like it's a trophy. But the magic isn't the number. The magic is the shift in physics. Before $100,000, you are mostly relying on income. You feel every setback. An unexpected expense can erase months of progress. Your savings rate is fighting gravity. After $100,000, your money begins to develop momentum. Not because $100 makes you rich. It doesn't. But because $100,000 is the point where your investments can start producing meaningful gains in a good year. Your emergency buffer is real enough that you stop living in financial flinch mode. Your confidence improves, which changes your decisions. Your system becomes stable. and stability is what allows compounding to do its job. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Compounding isn't just financial. Compounding is emotional. If you're constantly panicking, constantly starting and stopping, you never stay invested long enough to let time work. And time is the only unfair advantage normal people get. So the first $100,000 is valuable because it buys you something rare: staying power. Now right here is where people get tricked. They hear, save your first $100,000. And their brain translates it into, I need to get there fast. So they take risks they don't understand. They chase a hot stock. They copy a crypto portfolio. They buy a property with no margin of safety. They start a business with no runway. They use leverage because it feels grown up. This is where I'll be blunt. In your 30s, the biggest danger is confusing motion with progress. You can be very busy and very broke. Later in this episode, I'll give you a rule that prevents most of these mistakes. A rule that feels boring, but protects your future self. Keep that thought. We'll come back to it. So here's the structure. In the next parts, we'll cover Part A, the 3 things nobody warned you about in your 30s. Part B, the $100,000 plan that doesn't require extreme frugality. Part C, the Wealth Flywheel. And Part D, the finish. If you're listening while commuting, walking, or winding down at night, good. This episode isn't here to impress you. It's here to make you dangerous in the most practical way. Dangerous to debt, to distraction, and to bad incentives. All right, let's begin with the first thing nobody warned you about in your 30s. Your identity gets more expensive. And if you don't notice it happening, you'll wake up one day with a great career and no financial leverage. Let's talk about the first silent force that destroys wealth in your 30s. Identity inflation. In markets, inflation is simple. The same amount of money buys you less. In your 30s, identity inflation is worse. The same amount of money buys you less respect. Or at least that's what your nervous system believes. Because the scoreboard changes. In your 20s, people forgive chaos. Cheap apartments, random jobs, unclear futures. You can be potential. In your 30s, you're no longer potential. You're a signal. People don't say it out loud, but you feel it. What do you do? Where do you live? What do you drive? Where do you vacation? Are you doing well? Are you on track? And here's where money starts leaking. Not because you're irresponsible, but because your brain is trying to purchase certainty. Certainty for your family, certainty for your parents, certainty for your partner, certainty for yourself. So you spend on things that look like stability. And the cost is not the item. The cost is the subscription you just accidentally bought for your life. 1. The wealth killer. Nobody names subscription spending. Most lifestyle inflation is not a one-time purchase. It's a monthly contract you forget to renegotiate. A bigger place isn't just rent or mortgage. It's higher utilities, higher furnishing costs, higher maintenance, more little upgrades, higher expectations of everything inside it. A nicer car isn't just the payment. It's insurance, servicing tires, the I guess I should keep it clean tax, the I guess I should live like this now identity tax. A better wardrobe isn't just clothes. It's dry cleaning, more events you feel obligated to attend, more spending to match the new you. And do you see the pattern? The purchase is not the problem. The problem is you've raised the minimum cost of being you. That's identity inflation. Your monthly life becomes more expensive quietly until your income becomes a servant to your image, and then you call it adulting. 2. The status trap. You don't want the thing. You want the position. Let me translate something uncomfortable. A lot of people don't want the apartment. They want the sentence, "Oh wow, you live there." They don't want the vacation. They want the social proof. Looks amazing. They don't even want the watch. They want the unspoken message, "I'm doing well." In investing, I learned long ago, people don't buy assets. They buy narratives. And narratives are expensive. Because once you buy a narrative publicly, you have to keep funding it, or you suffer a psychological withdrawal. So here's a rule I want you to write down. If you need other people to see it for it to feel valuable, it's probably costing you your future. Not always, but often enough that it should make you pause. 3. The invisible dependence problem. Now, the second reason wealth building feels harder in your 30s. Your money gains dependents. Not just children, though yes, children. I mean invisible dependents, parents, aging siblings needing help, a partner's goals, weddings, medical costs, moving costs, emergency, flights, social obligations that become non-optional. In your 20s, your budget is mostly you. In your 30s, your budget becomes a small government, and governments don't go bankrupt from one big expense. They go bankrupt from many reasonable expenses that become permanent. That's why the classic advice, just save more, often fails. Because it ignores your new reality. You're not just earning money, you're managing a system of expectations. 4. The brutal truth. The middle class trap is mostly a cash flow trap. This part will sting a little, but it's important. The middle class trap is not being poor. It's earning enough to upgrade your life, but not enough to buy freedom. So your income rises, and your obligations rise with it, and you end up with a polished life and zero leverage. That is the danger decade of the 30s. You look successful, you feel stressed, because what you really have is fixed costs, and fixed costs are the enemy of wealth. Wealth is flexibility. Wealth is options. Wealth is the ability to say no without fear. If your monthly obligations are too high, you can't say no, you can't take a risk, you can't invest aggressively in yourself, you can't survive a layoff without panic. So here's another rule. Your savings rate is not a number. It's your freedom margin. The bigger the margin, the harder it is for life to bully you. 5. The counter move. Build a life ceiling before you build a higher lifestyle. Now what do you do with this? You do something very few people do in their 30s. You set a life ceiling. A ceiling is not deprivation. It's a decision. It sounds like, even if my income goes up, my lifestyle only goes up 20%. I will keep my housing cost under X%. I will not turn convenience into a permanent expense. I upgrade slowly after my net worth upgrades first. Because the goal isn't to look rich. The goal is to become unbreakable. Let me say that again. Your goal is not to be impressive. Your goal is to be hard to destroy. That's how real wealth starts. Not with a luxury purchase, but with a boundary. 6. Practical exercise. I'm going to give you a 10-minute exercise that changes behavior. Open your banking app. Now answer this honestly. What is the minimum monthly cost of my current identity? Not survival. Identity includes subscriptions, delivery habits, car payments, transport, beauty, grooming, social spending, memberships, the I deserve it category added up. Now imagine your income drops 30% for 6 months. Do you feel calm, or do you feel the tightening in your chest? That feeling is your truth. And it's not shameful. It's simply data. If that scenario scares you, it means your identity has become too expensive for your resilience. And resilience is the foundation of wealth. 7. The open loop. Now here's the good news. Once you understand identity inflation, the solution becomes clear. Not stop spending. Not never enjoy life. The solution is, you need a system that makes saving automatic and investing inevitable, so you don't rely on motivation while your life gets louder. In the next part, I'll show you the exact structure, what accounts to use. Simple, not fancy. What percentages work for most people in their 30s? How to avoid the 2 classic investing mistakes, and how to reach your first $100,000 without feeling like you're punishing yourself. Alright, if part 2 was the diagnosis, identity inflation, then part 3 is the treatment. And I want to be clear, this isn't a be frugal, stop living lecture. This is a system designed for real adults in their 30s. Busy, responsible, tempted, ambitious, and sometimes tired. Also, this is education, not personal financial advice. Now, here's the frame. In investing, amateurs obsess over returns. Professionals obsess over survival and positioning. Your first $100,000 is not built by chasing returns. It's built by building a machine that produces investable surplus, consistently, even when life gets noisy. So let's build the machine. The $100,000 system has 4 layers. Income, not your salary, your total cash engine allocation, where every dollar goes before you can feel it. Automation, removing decision fatigue. Investing, a strategy that avoids ruin and captures compounding. Most people start at layer 4 because it's exciting. That's like trying to build a skyscraper by picking curtains. We do it in order. Layer 1, income. Your income is not a number, it's a strategy. If you want your first $100,000 in a reasonable timeline, you need 2 engines. Savings engine, spend less than you earn. Earning engine, increase the size of what you earn. A brutal reality. You can cut expenses maybe 10 to 30% without wrecking your life. But you can increase income 30 to 100% in a few years if you treat it like a project. So here's your income rule for your 30s. Run your career like a portfolio. Concentrate effort where returns are highest. That means identify the 1 to 2 skills in your role that the market pays disproportionately for. Build evidence, projects, results, numbers. Negotiate, switch, or freelance. Strategically, don't confuse loyalty with safety. Safety comes from options. Options come from value. But income growth alone won't save you if your lifestyle rises with it. That's why Layer 2 exists. Layer 2, allocation. Every dollar needs a job before it arrives. Budgets fail because they rely on daily willpower. Allocation works because it's structural. Here's the model. Your paycheck should be split the moment it lands into a few buckets, not 10 buckets. Not an accounting spreadsheet. A few buckets that actually control behavior. I like a 3-bucket design. Stability, survive shocks, freedom, investing, wealth building. Lifestyle, your present life. If you're building your first 100K, the priority order is stability, freedom, lifestyle upgrades. Not because fun is bad, but because panic is expensive. In markets, the first rule is simple. Don't get wiped out. Your personal version is never make a decision that can ruin you. Ruin isn't my portfolio is down. Ruin is you can't pay bills, you sell investments at the worst moment, you take desperate debt, you accept bad work conditions because you have no runway. So the first allocation target is runway. Runway equals months you can live if income stops. A strong target for most people in their 30s is 3 to 6 months if your stable job plus no dependents. 6 to 12 months if you have dependents, variable income, or high uncertainty. This is not fear. This is positioning. When you have runway, you negotiate better, invest calmer, and make smarter choices. Let's get tactical. A baseline that works for many people building the first 100K. Fixed costs, needs. Aim 50 to 60% of take-home freedom. Investing's debt payoff. Aim 20 to 30%. Lifestyle. Wants, fun, guilt-free. The rest. If your fixed costs are already high, common in big cities, don't panic. Your first win is not perfection. Your first win is trend. You want fixed costs trending down as a percentage and freedom trending up, because wealth is not an amount. Wealth is a direction. People blow up their plan because they try to live like a monk. So instead, use 2-speed living. Keep your baseline lifestyle modest and stable. Allow upgrades only after milestones. Example milestone gates. I upgrade housing after I hit 50K invested. I upgrade car after I can buy it without affecting my investing rate. I increase lifestyle by 10%, but increase investing by 20%. This turns lifestyle inflation into a controlled lever, not a leak. Layer 3, automation. If it isn't automatic, it isn't real. Most people assume they'll decide to invest each month. That's adorable. You have a job, you have stress, you have life. So automation is how serious adults win. Here's what you automate first. Emergency fund transfer, until runway is built. Retirement, long-term investing transfer. Bill pay and essentials. A guilt-free lifestyle account. This matters more than people admit. Yes, guilt-free spending is part of the system, because guilt creates rebellion spending later. You can run this with 4 accounts. Income bills account, runway emergency account, investing account, brokerage retirement equivalent, lifestyle account, fun money. The moment your paycheck arrives, bills get covered, investing moves out, runway moves out until filled, lifestyle gets its allowance. What's left is not extra. What's left is friction. And friction is good. Friction prevents accidental spending. Here's a small behavioral hack that creates big savings without feeling poor. Any non-essential purchase above a set number must wait 48 hours. Your number might be $50, $100, $200, whatever fits your reality. The goal isn't deprivation. The goal is stopping impulse from becoming identity. Most I deserve it spending disappears in 48 hours because it wasn't desire. It was emotion shopping. Layer 4, investing. Compounding rewards patience, not brilliance. To reach your first 100K, you need a base that you contribute to consistently, you don't panic sell, you don't gamble with, you don't constantly improve. In markets, activity often signals ignorance. So we build a core and optional satellite. Core, diversified, low-cost, long-term holdings, the compounding engine. Satellite small, controlled risk for upside only if you can afford it. If you do nothing else, build the core. Volatility feels like danger, but for long-term investing, volatility is normal. The real danger is paying high fees, panic selling concentrated bets, leverage without runway, constantly switching strategies. Your job is not to be right every month. Your job is to stay in the game long enough for time to do the work. In macro investing, you respect asymmetry, limit downside, keep access to upside. Your personal version, downside protection, runway plus manageable fixed costs. Base compounding, consistent core investing. Optional upside, skills, side income, small controlled bets. That's the barbell, safety on one side, growth on the other, not a fragile, over-leveraged middle. A practical cadence that works for most people. Invest on a schedule, weekly or monthly. Use broad diversification for the core, rebalance rarely, like once or twice a year. Ignore daily noise. And you'll notice something important. This is not exciting. Good. Excitement is for casinos. Wealth is for systems. The $100,000 path. What actually moves the needle? To get to the first 100K, you pull 3 levers. Savings rate, the portion you invest. Income growth, make the engine bigger. Time in the market, stay invested. Returns matter, yes, but early on, your contribution rate and income growth dominate. So if you want a simple scoreboard, track these 4 numbers monthly. Net worth, total assets minus liabilities. Invested balance, your compounding base. Savings rate, freedom percent of take home. Fixed cost ratio, how heavy your life is. That's it. More tracking than that becomes a hobby, to make it feel real. Suppose you invest $1,000 per month consistently. In 12 months, that's $12,000 contributed. Over several years, with market growth, it begins to accelerate. Now increase income, so you invest $1,500 per month. That change doesn't just add $500. It changes your life, because it changes your timeline. Most people underestimate how powerful consistent contributions are because they think in months. Wealth is built in years, and years pass faster than you think. Closing the loop. Why this system creates the 100K shift. The first $100 changes your life because you have runway, you act calmer, you invest consistently, you trust yourself, you stop needing external validation, you stop paying the status tax, you become harder to scare, you stop selling low, you become harder to pressure, you negotiate and choose better. It's not just money, it's leverage, and leverage is the real definition of wealth. Now there's one more trap we must address, because it's where high earners in their 30s get crushed. It's the trap of being successful, but financially fragile. In the next part, we'll talk about lifestyle gravity, the reason high income doesn't create wealth, and how to design your life so that your wealth grows even if your motivation disappears. Let's talk about the force that quietly beats people who are doing well. Not poor, not careless, not stupid. People with good jobs, good incomes, and good intentions. They still can't reach $100,000 invested. Why? Because of lifestyle gravity. Gravity doesn't hate you. Gravity is just always there. And the more your income rises, the more gravity tries to pull your lifestyle up with it, until your savings rate is crushed under the weight of normal. In your 30s, the most dangerous phrase is, we can afford it. Because we can afford it usually means we can afford the payment, not the lifetime cost. And wealth is built by the gap between what you earn and what you normalize. 1. The hidden enemy, fixed costs. Fixed costs are spending you stop questioning. Rent, mortgage, car payment, insurance, school fees, subscriptions, staff, debt obligations. Even helping family can become a fixed cost. Fixed costs are not evil, but they are heavy. And heavy things don't move fast. If you want to build wealth, you must protect one thing above all else, your flexibility. Because flexibility is what allows you to survive layoffs without panic, invest through downturns, take a better job, risk, start a side income, negotiate from strength, say no when the deal is bad. A high income with low flexibility is a golden cage. 2. The success tax. Here's a truth people won't say out loud. As you become successful, you start paying the success tax. It looks like nicer clothes for work, better gifts, more weddings, more dinners, more travel, more networking, more obligations. And it's subtle because it's socially rewarded. No one claps when you invest quietly, but everyone sees when you upgrade visibly. So your brain learns the wrong lesson. Visible spending equals identity points. Invisible investing equals nothing happens until years later. This is why you need rules, not willpower. Rules. 3. The rule that saves high earners. Raise investing faster than lifestyle. If your income rises 20%, your lifestyle should not rise 20%. A strong wealth building rule is, for every raise, increase investing at least twice as fast as lifestyle. Example, income up 20%, investing up 30 to 40%, lifestyle up 10% or less. This way you still enjoy progress, but your future compounds harder than your present expands. This is how you break the middle class trap. 4. The new normal problem. Lifestyle upgrades are rarely isolated. You upgrade the apartment, now you need better furniture. You upgrade the car, now you need better maintenance. You upgrade your wardrobe, now you need the lifestyle to match it. You upgrade your friends' circles, now you need their spending pace. The first upgrade creates secondary spending. Secondary spending is the real killer. So here's your protection. Before any upgrade, ask, what are the secondary costs this creates? If the secondary costs are big and permanent, you're not buying an upgrade. You're buying a new identity subscription. Number 5, the in-between trap. This is the part I want you to hear emotionally, not intellectually. People don't overspend because they love shopping. They overspend because they're tired. Your 30s are full of exhaustion, work pressure, family pressure, decision fatigue, life, admin stress that doesn't end. So spending becomes relief, delivery becomes relief, upgrades become relief, convenience becomes relief, and relief is understandable. But if relief becomes your default, you will never build wealth, because wealth requires one rare skill: delayed relief. Not delayed forever, delayed strategically. The counter move: build a gravity-proof life. 6. The 3 anchors. If you want to reach 100 Ks without feeling miserable, build 3 anchors. Anchor A, a fixed cost ceiling. Pick a maximum percentage of take-home income for fixed costs. For many people, 50 to 60% is a solid target. Lower if possible, higher temporarily if you're in a high-cost city, but treat it as a phase, not a lifestyle. Fixed costs are where wealth goes to die, so you cap them. Anchor B, automatic investing on payday. Not end of month, not when I remember. Payday, because if you invest after you spend, you're not investing, you're hoping. Anchor C, a guilt-free lifestyle allowance. This is critical. If you don't allow guilt-free spending, you'll create binge spending, so you fund fun on purpose inside the system. That keeps you consistent. 7. The anti-fragile upgrade rule, Soros style, but personal. In investing, there's a difference between being strong and being anti-fragile. Strong means you resist shocks. Anti-fragile means you improve because of shocks. Your financial life can be anti-fragile too. Here's the upgrade rule. Only upgrade what reduces stress or increases earning power. Examples of good upgrades: tools that save time and protect energy, so you can earn and think better. Education that increases income, health investments that prevent expensive problems, a living situation that supports your productivity without crushing your fixed cost ratio. Examples of bad upgrades: upgrades that exist mainly to signal status, upgrades that create secondary spending, upgrades that increase fixed costs permanently without increasing earning power. This is not morality, it's strategy. 8. A tiny framework. Does this buy freedom or buy applause? Ask one question before big purchases. Does this buy freedom or buy applause? Freedom purchases: reduce stress, reduce time cost, reduce risk, increase flexibility, increase future options. Applause purchases: look impressive, feel exciting, fade quickly, require maintenance, create comparison pressure. Not all applause purchases are banned, but they should be funded from your lifestyle allowance, never from your wealth engine. 9. The lifestyle gravity audit. Do this once a month. Open your bank app. Sort spending into just 2 categories. Freedom positive helps health, time, earning, stability. Freedom negative adds fixed costs, adds clutter, mostly status or impulse. Then ask, what freedom negative items became normal? Which ones are subscriptions I forgot to cancel? Which ones are stress spending? You don't need to optimize everything, you just need to remove the worst leaks. In markets, you don't need perfect timing, you need to avoid catastrophic mistakes. Same here. The real point: wealth is the absence of financial panic, Ken. Why 100K matters again. When people say save your first $100, they imply the money is the goal. But the deeper goal is you stop flinching at expenses. You stop being controlled by the next paycheck. You stop living one shock away from chaos. You stop making career decisions from fear. Lifestyle gravity tries to keep you fragile. Your job is to make yourself harder to scare, because once you're hard to scare, you make better decisions. Better decisions compound faster than money. Now we need to talk about the most powerful tool for building wealth in your 30s, stronger than any stock tip, your wealth flywheel. It's the chain reaction that turns one good habit into 3, one raise into momentum, one disciplined year into a decade of compounding back. In the next part, I'll show you exactly how to build it. Good. Now we build the part that makes wealth feel unfair, in a good way. Because the secret isn't that rich people have better information. The secret is that once a person's financial system crosses a certain threshold, it starts behaving like a flywheel. A flywheel is heavy. It's hard to start, but once it's spinning, it keeps spinning, with less effort. That is what your first $100,000 is really about. It's not being rich. It's starting the flywheel. And once the flywheel starts, you stop relying on motivation. You rely on momentum. 1. The flywheel model. Here's the wealth flywheel in one line. Stability, calm, better decisions, higher income, higher investing, more stability. That's it. And the reason most people never build wealth is that they're trapped in the opposite loop. Stress, impulse spending, low investing, fragility, more stress. We're not trying to be good with money. We're trying to escape the stress loop and enter the momentum loop. 2. Why your first 100K is a behavioral milestone, not a financial one. Let's say it plainly. $100,000 is not life-changing because it buys yachts. It's life-changing because it changes your behavior. You stop needing every paycheck, you stop being easily pressured, you stop panic selling, you stop taking dumb risks for fast money, you start seeing time as your ally. In markets, the best investors don't have the highest IQ. They have the highest emotional tolerance for uncertainty. The first 100K buys you that tolerance. Not fully, but enough. 3. The 3 accelerators. Once your system is running, there are 3 accelerators that multiply results. Accelerator A. Increase income without increasing identity. This is the biggest one. If income rises and lifestyle stays stable, the surplus becomes fuel. Most people do the opposite. Income rises, lifestyle rises, no fuel, no flywheel. So the pro move is boring. Keep your baseline lifestyle stable while income climbs. This feels socially strange, which is why it works. Accelerator B. Convert raises into automatic investing. The moment you get a raise, do one thing immediately. Increase your automatic investment for the same week, not next month. Not after you celebrate, same week. Because if you delay, lifestyle gravity claims it. Accelerator C. Increase your time leverage. Time leverage is the ability to earn more per hour without working more hours. That comes from a high-value skill, better systems, better health and energy, a reputation that pulls opportunities toward you. Your 30s are not just about saving money. They're about building the kind of value that makes money easier to earn. 4. The one level up method. Here's a method that works because it respects psychology. You don't overhaul your entire life. You level up one variable at a time. A simple rotation. Month 1, cut one fixed cost or renegotiate it. Month 2, increase income, negotiate, freelance, switch, upsell. Month 3, increase investing automation. Month 4, optimize one lifestyle leak, subscriptions, convenience spending. Then repeat. This avoids the classic failure mode, trying to change everything, getting tired, quitting, feeling guilty, spending more. We want steady momentum, not heroics. 5. The barbell life. In my world, macro investing, barbell strategies survive shocks. You keep one side safe. You keep one side exposed to upside. Your personal finance barbell looks like this. Safety side. Runway, emergency fund, manageable fixed costs, diversified long-term investing, insurance, and basics handled. Upside side, skill building side, income experiments, career moves, small bets with capped downside. Most people live in the fragile middle. No runway, high fixed costs, and hope as a plan. The barbell makes you resilient and ambitious at the same time. 6. The most powerful wealth habit. Buy your future time. Let's zoom out. The final product of wealth is not money. It's time. So every month, ask, did I buy future time or sell future time? You buy future time when you invest, reduce debt, improve health, learn skills, create systems, reduce fixed costs. You sell future time when you take high interest debt, increase fixed obligations, buy status, choose convenience as a permanent lifestyle. This question is a compass, not a rule. But compasses are how you don't get lost. 7. The quiet rich advantage. Here's something uncomfortable but useful. Your wealth is partially determined by your environment. Not because your friends are bad, but because spending is contagious. If you're around people who normalize expensive dinners, luxury travel, constant upgrades, treat yourself as a lifestyle, your nervous system starts calling it normal. So the goal is not abandon people. The goal is to create one pocket of your life where wealth is normal. A community, a mentor, a friend, who's also building even just one person who respects long-term thinking. Because the fastest way to stay consistent is to stop feeling weird for being disciplined. 8. The 100K to 250 cal reality check. Now you might think, once I hit 100 cal, it's easy. Not exactly. It gets easier, yes, because compounding becomes visible. But new traps appear. Overconfidence, I'm good at this now. Lifestyle upgrades, I deserve to finally relax. Complexity addiction, fancy strategies, constant trading. Comparison at a higher level, now I need to keep up with richer people. So the rule stays the same. Simple, consistent, diversified, automated. Boring wins. Boring is the sound of compounding. 9. Mini action plan. Start your flywheel this week. Do these 3 actions within 7 days. Set or raise automatic investing by a small amount, even $25 per week. The point is consistency. Cut one recurring subscription you forgot existed. Easy win. Instant fuel. Write your fixed cost ceiling as a percentage and pick one cost to renegotiate in the next 30 days. This is how flywheels start. Small push, repeated. Now we finish the episode with the part people avoid saying out loud, because it sounds ungrateful, but it's reality. After you hit $100,000, 2 things are true at the same time. Your financial position improves meaningfully. Your mind may still feel like nothing changed. And if you don't understand that, you'll sabotage yourself. Not with one big mistake, with 1,000 small ones. I deserve this. I've worked so hard. I'll be strict next month. It's just one upgrade. I'm already ahead. This is the Goalpost Trap, and it's the reason people who should become wealthy don't. 1. The market lesson. Your feelings are not a reliable signal. In markets, feelings are often wrong. When you feel safest, risk is often highest. When you feel terrified, opportunity is often best. Personal finance is similar. When you hit $100, you may feel relief for a week, pride for a moment, then a strange emptiness, because the number is not the thing you wanted. What you wanted was security, respect, calm, control, proof you're okay. But those are psychological states, not numbers. So your brain tries to solve a psychological need with a financial milestone. And when the milestone arrives and the need remains, your brain says, then the milestone must not be enough. So the goalpost moves. 100K becomes 250 calories, 250K becomes 500K, 500 becomes 1M, 1M becomes I need more, and the person becomes rich on paper and anxious in the body. That's not wealth. That's a well-funded stress habit. 2. The truth about 100K. It's not freedom. It's leverage. Let's correct the fantasy. 100K is not, I never have to worry again. 100K is a strong base, a real buffer, the beginning of compounding, the start of negotiating power. It's leverage, not retirement. And leverage is precious because it changes the decisions available to you. Before 100K, you often think, I can't afford to take that risk. I need stability at all costs. I should keep my head down. After 100K, you can start thinking, what's the highest upside decision I can survive? Which skills create the most leverage? How do I buy my future time? That's the shift. If you treat $100 like a finish line, you'll spend it emotionally. If you treat it like leverage, you'll multiply it quietly. 3. The 3 post-100K traps. Trap number 1, lifestyle back pay. This is the classic. You feel like you've been disciplined for years, so you start paying yourself back. Nicer apartment, nicer car, more trips, more treat yourself. The problem isn't the treats. The problem is the permanence. You convert temporary celebration into permanent fixed costs, and fixed costs are gravity. So the rule is, celebrate with one-time upgrades, not recurring obligations. Trips are safer than bigger payments. Memories are safer than leases. Trap number 2, complexity addiction. Once you have money, you start believing you need to level up your strategy. You start chasing complicated portfolios, constant trading, exotic assets, insider ideas. In markets, complexity is often ego wearing a costume. The rule: if your strategy needs constant attention to work, it will fail when you get busy or emotional. Your wealth engine must be boring and durable. Trap number 3, comparison at a higher level. This is the cruelest trap. When you had $10, you compared yourself to people with $50. When you have $100K, you compare yourself to people with $500. Your progress is real, but your mind refuses to feel it. So you work harder, spend more, and still feel behind. Comparison is a treadmill with no end, and if you run on it long enough, you will trade your life for a scoreboard. Before, the enough framework. I'm not going to tell you be content. That's not how humans work. I'll give you a framework that works. Define enough in 3 categories. Enough number 1, lifestyle enough. What is the standard of living that makes your daily life feel good? Not Instagram good, not prove something good, actually good. Write it down. If you don't define it, society defines it for you. Enough number 2, runway enough. How many months of runway makes you sleep better? Write the number. Then stop hoarding cash beyond that sleep number and invest the rest. Yes, keep some liquidity, but don't confuse liquidity with safety. Enough number 3, freedom enough, the real one. Freedom is not never working. Freedom is the ability to walk away, the ability to choose, the ability to pause, the ability to say no. Pick a freedom goal. I want 12 months of runway plus X dollars invested. I want my investments to cover my baseline expenses. I want to work less, not stop working. When freedom is defined, your money has a job. 5, the wealth thermostat. Most people have a wealth thermostat. If they earn more, they unconsciously spend more until they're back at their emotional comfort zone. The thermostat is identity. This is what people like me do. This is my normal. This is my group. So changing your money requires changing your normal. That's why your first 100K matters. It proves you can live below your means without dying socially. Then you raise the thermostat, slowly, deliberately. 6, the final system. Protect the base, widen the gap, let time work. If you want one sentence to remember from this entire episode, it's this: protect the base, widen the gap, let time work. Protect the base, runway, manageable fixed costs, diversified core investing. Widen the gap, increase income, keep lifestyle stable, automate investing. Let time work, consistency, patience, and emotional control. That is wealth. Not a lottery ticket, not a viral strategy, a machine. 7, closing. So yes, save your first $100,000. It can change your life. Because it changes what you can survive, it changes what you can say no to, it changes how calm you become under pressure, it changes how you invest, it changes the decisions you're able to make. But the truth nobody warned you about is this: your 30s will try to sell you a life that looks successful and feels fragile. And wealth is simply refusing that deal. It's choosing systems over impulses, boundaries over applause, freedom over looking free. And if you do it long enough, something strange happens. Your money stops being a source of stress. It becomes a source of calm. If this episode helped you, share it with someone in their 30s who looks like they're doing fine, but you know they're quietly under pressure. Because the most dangerous people in the financial world are not the loud ones. They're the ones building leverage in silence.